Right, so the engine's out, it's on an engine stand. Thought I'd give you a bit of a closer look down these ports and how filthy it is. It's probably partly not enough oil changes, but a lot of it, I mean, just have a good look at that. That blow-by situation, those seats have been leaking for ages. So don't risk it. They could start leaking at 150. We've seen it before. We've shown that in other videos. And all those bits of carbon just blowing out, filling up the engine and blocking the oil pickup. Let's spin it over and have a look at the oil pickup. So the engine's upside down. We're not going to waste your time and show you how to take the sump off. It's just a few bolts, you know. And here's the oil pickup, guys. Check this out. Now, when I say this is video number 3, 5 or 7 or 8, you can't trust me. Look at the name of the video and that's what it is. I reckon we're up to, what do we have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I reckon this is video number 7. So if you haven't watched the others, go and watch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is number 7. Have a good look at that oil pickup. It's completely blocked. It's been like that ages. And this is what caused the problem with the engine in the first place. This could happen with just about any diesel. I'll say just about, but I don't see why not any diesel or petrol engine if it hasn't had enough oil changes, okay? We've seen it on petrol engines, absolutely, just from lack of oil changes. What's happened here, it's all caused by those injectors, the blow-by, the leaking, the carbonization of the oil. I'm going to invent some new words here, whatever. Right, but what we're going to do now, let's remove this oil pickup. If someone's got some tools to quickly zip this off, let's take this off and we're going to clean the oil out of this and show you the particles, the little carbon pieces, once it's clean. All right, let's lift that off. There's a gasket there. For anyone that's going to do this at home, don't go and clean you don't need to clean your oil pickup. Right, the gasket is stuck to the oil pickup. You don't need to go clean it, you need to check it. That's through the sump hole. Like we did, check video 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in order. Okay, so now what we've done is to demonstrate for you. We're spending time to demonstrate for you. So we sprayed some degreaser, you know, the canned stuff, over the oil pickup here to get the oil off, right? So you can see what you're left with. It's all the carbonized oil, okay? It's not a Toyota problem, it's not a problem, it's not a fault. It's the seats of the injectors were never changed. Have a good look at that. How can the engine get oil if it's got to pull the oil through there? And then the condition of the rest of the oil. It's pretty darn average, that's for sure. It's not the worst we've seen. That's not the oil. That's a lot of degreaser. We just sprayed the oil, right? I'm just trying to give you a picture, like, you know, that's some of the grit that came out over there. You know, that's mainly degreaser, but it is, yeah, I don't know if it's, I'd have to check with the client to know if it has missed a few oil changes, and he hasn't owned it that long, so it could have been previous. Now what we're going to do now, we're going to get the rest of the sump off, have a look at the big end bearings. Alright guys, so we've got the sump off, as you can see. We'll put a few photos in there for you to see. We had a quick look at number 2, just pop that back on, turn it over. See on number 1 here, there's quite a bit of damage there. You can see that bearing's pretty well off its head, cooked. I don't know what you saw in the photos, but anyway. So there is work to be done. And this is where I kind of go, well, it's just not worth the amount of you know, work involved. It's just not worth it unless you're into selling your labour time and competing with the quality manufacturing engineering of Toyota in Japan, because you get a new long motor, it's got all this stuff new, and it comes with new injectors and the pipes and everything you need. It's got the new water pump. So this has got a leaking water pump. We see that here. So you might not be able to see it. There it is. You can see the stain there. See the pink, right? So it's got a leaking water pump. So it's just awesome value for money, really. You know, I mean, list price is about 10 grand, give or take, more or less, whatever. It varies from VIN number to VIN number, so I can't give you an exact price. But about 10 grand, you know, you get them a bit cheaper. But there's other gaskets and that for the job, of course. Now, so that's what we've seen here. So for those people that were interested, that's not as bad. It's Number 1 has got the biggest groove in it. You can actually, that right there around this side, you can catch a fingernail on it pretty well. So all the expert engine rebuilders out there, what do you reckon? You know, what do we need to do? We need to do this and do that, or do we just go and get a new long motor and you can have this one cheap and do what you do? We just think new long motor is best value for money. But what we're going to do now, we're going to have a look around the other end. We'll get the head off and we'll come back to you with any findings around that end and see if we can see any further information that's relevant before we make a decision. Okay, so we've got the head off and I just want to show you, this is untouched, unclean, unwiped as it got lifted off. I'm just going to show you what we're looking at the moment. Right, so that's number 1 cylinder. Haven't seen any cracks yet, but we need to clean them. This is number 4. Number 3. Take note of that edge up in the top of the picture. Number 2. We're going to bring that up to the top and see what's going on there. Okay, so now we've turned it over so that 1 and 4 are down and 2 and 3 are up. So number 2, notice they're 040 pistons. Can you see any cracks? Starting. Number 3. Let's have a look in the comments, all the engine experts, diagnosis. Have you heard that noise before? Have you been watching these videos? What can you tell us? So I'm not going to waste too much time on this engine, it's stuffed, you can see the damage, but we're just taking a quick measurement on the piston protrusion and 0.28 on number 2. We'll go and have a look at number 3, 1 and 4 just to see what it is also. Much less than the other one. That was number 4, went to 0.25, so we sort of double checked them all. So far number 2 we've got, was it 0.2, went up to 0.28 or 9, was it? 0.28, no, it's in the video, we'll go back. 0.28. Number 3 went to 0.09, and this one's on 0.25 it went to, it's gone back 1. We've got number 1 to go. So that's number one. See, number 1, what do we see? 0.47 or something. Anyway, it's in the photos. Bada bing. All right. Quickly show you the head. That's at the front there. Number 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so if you remember previously, I waffled on a bit in the other videos trying to give a bit of information, and I said within a very short period of time, a few minutes of the vehicle arriving, I had worked out a fair idea, step-by-step process of what's going on, and the oil starvation situation damaging the big end bearings on the con rods, and that messes with a piston protrusion. Now we've done a measurement. For whatever reason, we started at number 2 here first. You've seen the measurement in the bits of video there. It was about, I'm going by memory here, 0.28, which is technically a bit out of specification. Number 3 here wasn't too bad, but it's all uneven. It needs to be even for a start. And then number 4 is about 2.6 or 2.7. I can't remember. You'd have to rewind and watch the video again. So the good news is that one and that one were even, but they're out of specification. This one was much lower, and then we come to this one, and whatever it was, it's sitting on 4.3 at the moment, which is just completely out of specification. You can't do anything with that, and that's where I believe the piston, between with a bit of carbon build-up and whatever, is just gently tapping on the head, and that would only get worse in time. You could probably throw a set of injectors in it, clean the oil pickup, a lot of good regular oil changes and get some time out of it, but I don't know whether it would last. From the feedback I've had from, we've had about 3, I'll just shut the compressor off. I've had about 3 people with an engine like this that wanted to sort of get it going and clean the oil pickup, put injectors in it or reset and whatever the case may be, and they didn't last too long. So, right, so I'm certainly not the engine expert. Is there any engine experts out there, or am I the best? I hope not. I'll tell you, I don't rebuild engines. Just doing some basic checks here and trying to help demonstrate. We're not sure exactly what that noise, the knocking noise, whether it's actually touching, compressing some of the carbon, touching the worn bearings, or throwing the piston up a bit further, maybe touching, or just because of the higher compression, because they're less space. We're not 100% sure about that. So is there any rebuilders out there or people with a lot of experience on these diesels? And I know it's hard for you to tell from here, and whatever you put in the comments may even not be right, but we invite you to put some comments there, provide some information for the public here on what may have been causing that tapping, knocking noise. One thing I think we can all agree on, this engine is stuffed. We've about to order any moment a new long motor from Toyota. That's how we roll. That's what we really wanted to do anyway. It was just more of an inspection to see if there was a way to fix this one up and get away with it cheaply, but just not going to be worth it. Anyway guys, thanks for watching this video. This is the next update. Please give us the thumbs up, and if you can, if you can do that, that'd be good. If you learnt something and you're enjoying the videos, and yeah, it's probably wise to subscribe and turn the bell on, because we're going to have more awesome information coming your way. Thanks for watching.